goal isn't to live forever. The goal is to create something that will.
Welcome to Perspective, a podcast for wedding creatives, where we sit down often with a special guest and talk about our many years of experience in the wedding industry so you can learn from us and grow your wedding business. I'm Simon.
And I'm Greg.
And together we are Cinemate Films, two Scottish-based wedding filmmakers who love nothing more than drinking coffee and talking shop with others in the wedding industry. This episode is sponsored by With Jack, but I will get onto that a little bit later in the show. Greg, who are we talking to today?
We are talking to Echo Kowalski. Hello, Echo. How are you doing?
Hello, Echo. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Very well, very well.
Good, thank you.
We didn't ask, do you have a beverage just to keep yourself hydrated? Because this is a marathon, not a sprint of our podcast.
Okay. I'm also a team of coffee, so I got it here.
Coffee.
Nice. So yeah, how have you been? Obviously, we've never met face-to-face or even digitally before. We've never met you properly. So yeah, nice to meet you, and thank you for joining us.
Nice to meet you. I feel like I already know you guys because I watched quite some videos of you guys, and yeah, I'm doing well. Like gradually get into January now. Like slowly planning a little bit for the year. So having a very calm and slow start.
Yeah.
Good.
What are those plans looking like so far? Like, and is this business plans or is this personal plans? Like, I know this time of year, everyone loves to, new year, new me, and they start going to the gym or whatever it is they want to do with their lives.
Yes, the gym is included.
Gym is included.
Yeah, actually, I will see that both like business and also my personal well-being. So and a little bit trying to actually get off more from work and concentrate a little bit more on myself and what I want to do. So first tidy this part in my head and then bring it onto the business. This is how I feel.
Yeah. So what changes business-wise does that look like?
I have to say wedding that's continued, that's for sure. And but in the past, I do quite some those style shoots or this kind of work. And this year, I'm planning to do less, but concentrate on something else. Because so many different areas of photography I also want to try more. Then this year I'm trying to set up several fashion photo shoots by myself and try more studio lighting. Like I am good at going out, that's for sure. Like we do wedding natural like that thing, but how about some more set up things? Then I more systematically learn about lighting. Then I set up several shoots for the coming months.
Yeah.
And as those shoots, are they completely out with the wedding industry or are they still connected? Like, is it fashion to do with weddings or is it nothing to do with weddings?
I am having a little bit of intention because I don't I'm still trying to put my style into these fashion photography things in terms of the timeless, elegant style. I would want to continue in these fashion photo shoots. Therefore, for example, the choice of clothing or the makeup artist I'm working with is the makeup artist I always work with style shoots. So we work before together. I trust her work. Something like this. So it's not entirely totally different, but just trying something new.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And do you have your own studio space, or have you created a studio space in your house, or like what is your business setup?
For this kind of photo shoot, I really rent studios for that purpose. And in the past, I actually set up things at home. So I have basic lighting things. So like you see me now with the lamp, I can also set it up in this way. But at a home limited space, I can move, and after some years of wedding photography, I need to move. So when you ask me not to move too much, I feel uncomfortable. So I need to rent a larger place to try.
Yeah. Cool.
That's cool. That's cool. That's exciting.
Let's talk about like photography in general. How did you get into being a photographer, and sort of when did you start doing weddings?
Okay. How to say it? I started taking pictures when I was young. But that is like really hobby-ish thing. But really start having a camera involved to money making. That would be around 2016, and that was a time is it really? Let me think. Or trace back a little bit further, could be 2014-ish, that I start learning, just using my phone at that time, to take some food pictures. I was trying to have a food blog, but don't ask me further about that. It's gone now.
Okay.
At that time, I actually learned quite some lighting thing, and my husband really see, hey, she's a little bit serious here. And at that time, he was working in a decoration company, and he was in an apartment that he was responsible for Amazon. So taking some boring, the picture was just a white background.
There's no boring pictures, is there?
Actually not. Did I say yes? But I have to say I really enjoyed that time. Like the outcome is really just a product in front of white background. They have a light box like for really product photography. But how at that time I really start learning how to use the menu mode and how to reflect some more light to present the product in such a boring background, and also start the time to use Photoshop to do that. And this is how I start photography per se.
Okay.
Yeah, and but the contract with that company was limited, and there was a time I need to think, what's next. And so now I discovered I have certain skills, and I maybe take some portrait pictures with people and see what comes next. And then I took some portrait pictures. That is the time that I told you, like I set up things at home. I bought some continuous light at home at that time to try. And then until a point that a friend of the model of mine said, hey, she's getting married and would really want me to take the picture. Then that was my first attempt to do a 2-hour silver wedding. Yeah.
Right. Oh, exciting. And was it a challenge for you at that point in your photography career, or were you confident enough? Because like shooting still products is very different from shooting people.
Yeah.
So what was your experience there?
That was very, very, very challenging. It's not only about controlling the camera, but also about the language. At that time, I was not in Germany for too long, and but because we have some common people in between, and their wedding was super, super small. So actually, they basically trust me and just let me to stand around to take some picture. Okay. Plus, even though it's just my first attempt, I already went to the how to call that the silver hall. And I asked the people like 1-2 weeks in advance, and can I look at the room in advance, and how I can do that. And also because I know it's 2 hours, and after the silver wedding, we are going to take some pictures in the park. And I also went to the park. That was a December, and all trees are bald. I don't know what to do actually. But I got some inspiration on Pinterest as well. Like I had no experience of couple shooting at that time, but see what I can do actually. And then I plan something, and I always have my support with my from my husband, and try some pose with me. And then that is how I get to that point, like successfully photographed the 2 hours, and they were very happy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Excellent. Yeah, good. Sorry, would you like to? I feel like I've been talking a lot, Greg. Would you like you ask a question? Go on. It's okay. Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. I think that's the last question.
The last question, right, guys? Thank you for listening. Great podcast.
So your photography journey started once you had moved to Glasgow, to Germany. Yeah. So, do you think you've brought any of your sort of influence and artistic vision from your upbringing in Hong Kong?
Actually, in the beginning, has more influence on that, and in the beginning, my head was empty. I don't know what should be done and what is actually for wedding photography, and I actually look at a lot of at that time Hong Kong wedding photographer, how they're doing that, and then I try to put those things into a German couple. It worked, but somehow it wasn't right. The reason is that I gradually, after a few years, I recognized that the emotional language is completely different. I can put exactly the same posture on them, but somehow it might not work too much. But when it comes to posing, in the beginning, I really brought a lot of my Hong Kongese eyes into that. I believe nowadays still, but it's not that on purpose.
Yeah.
Well, this might be a hard question to answer, but what did you feel were the differences? Like, what was it that didn't translate between those Hong Kong culture and the German culture? Like, was it just cultural, or was it like, did you discover what it was? Or
if we are only talking about the emotional language part, that is like let me think. The photographers I was looking at, they are more to a calm level. Do you know the concept of wabi-sabi?
No, I'm not familiar.
No, not really.
Okay, that is a concept of a lifestyle. Basically, if there is something broken, you are not throwing those away, but repairing them, like this kind of lifestyle. But when it comes to translating to photography, that is a very calm and stillness kind of feeling. So basically, also having some kind of a longing feeling, like very still, but I don't want you to leave, something like this. And I try to put this feeling on a wedding day, and the people just happily come out from the church, and then I bring them to the park and ask them to longing for each other. That was not quite well. But to be honest, I feel like that was I won't entirely categorize it as a cultural difference, because in Hong Kong we have plenty of people having upbeat picture. So that is just at that time my inspiration were from this area, and then I put it into those people who were not delivering this kind of feeling. But I recognize when I use those pictures on my profile, the year after, those people start getting towards a little bit calmer end. Yeah.
Okay. Is that? Do you mention that concept in your website?
Wabi Sabi, no.
No.
Wabi Sabi, I had a very long time ago style shoot about this concept, but I didn't really put it on my website. My website current lifestyle is called Joy of Missing Out, so JOMO.
Yeah.
This is like, they are very similar thing, not similar, but you can see they are under the same tree.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, because JOMO seems quite interesting because obviously it goes against the norm of most people think of FOMO. So tell us a bit more about that concept and what drew you to that.
I think, yes, it's absolutely the opposite of fear of missing out, so FOMO. And the story is a little bit long, so you two sit properly and listen.
Perfect.
And
Perfect.
It gets back to the time when I was really leaving Hong Kong. And that was 2010 already. And the first destination I was actually in England. I studied in England, and I met my husband there in the university. But at that time, actually, I feel like I'm getting loose with my friends and my family, but it wasn't too hard, the feeling. And especially in the university setting, that was quite a lot of things occupying me. So I don't feel too bad. I just had a feeling that, hey, why some topic we can continue. When people ask me about my life, I try to explain they don't understand something like this. And but after I left England, I came to Germany, and then I did not have a role of a student anymore. Then it kicks in even harder. And at that time, I was really having depression, and with that, I had a identity crisis. I went to psychologist for quite some time, and I couldn't handle to an extent that I need to cut off basically all the communication or connection. Like I disappear from connecting with my friends and family. Facebook at that time was still Facebook. I really totally delete everything or hide everything, and I had those accounts. I cancel them, something like this. And that was a time I start getting into myself. And but the fear of missing out feeling is still always come. Like as a immigrants, like the daily encounter to the outside world plus my own value is always contradict. And then but gradually I learned to accept it, like really to accept the missing out is not really that bad a thing. And also I recognize missing out a lot of toxic thing was very healthy. And that was a point I realized actually it's cool. Like, and I also read quite some psychology magazine at that time. And that's why I got in touch with the terms joy of missing out at that time. And then I gradually, starting from having my photography business, and then I really feel like, okay, like I really want to enjoy more of this joy of missing out lifestyle. But truth be told, it's not one-way train. The fear of missing out always coming, and especially when it comes to the business. But what is different is that compared to 10 years ago, I can always remind myself that, hey, you have a choice to have the joy of missing out time now.
Yeah. So it's something that you're constantly working on. Like it's not,
Was it literally just like were you comparing yourself with others? Because obviously I think that's maybe a big thing that many of us suffer from is like you're seeing all these people put out their best of their life. And it's like, you're only seeing the highlight reel. And obviously that's going to look good coming from anyone, like their highlight reel. Was it that you were just comparing your own life to theirs? Was that where this feeling of needing to just dissociate yourself with everything else, or?
That is one of the reasons. Yes. Compare oneself to them and then think about I'm doing a crap work, something like this. Still, like each week you ask me once, at least I can tell you several times I feel in this way.
Does what's that syndrome called again?
Imposter
the one where you feel like fraud. What's that?
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. Yes. Does that strike you every now and then, or have you learned to, I don't know, learn to ignore those voices in your head, or have you overcome it completely and like you understand where those emotions come from and that they are illogical to a certain degree? Like,
I would say I have up and downs, and summer when the sun shines better, more, then I seem to feel less about those things. But winter, like winter depression time, then I might feel a little bit stronger. But I think I think nowadays everyone can say as a professional fear of missing out person, then should be able to distinguish what triggers in the head. And but I do not. When I really just blindly turn away and try not to listen, I become grumpy. But then over time, I really, when stronger case come, called journaling, or I write like to myself, and that was really helpful, and actually always turn out something even positive, like simply put, like thinking the other person can set up such a nice scene and I can't do that. And then when I was journaling, and I said, and I can already talk to myself like, isn't it that easy? That if that is that easy, you can also do that. Hey, you can do it next time. It will turn out like this.
Like flipping it on its side and just looking at it from a different perspective. It's not like they're so good at something else. It's that you now can potentially learn. You've now spotlighted something that you're not good at, and now the knowledge of you having that gap in your own knowledge, you can then take the steps to become better, become a better creative.
Would you say, do you bring that joy of missing out philosophy to your work in terms of, are you good at not overshooting? Can you see a moment and go, I'm going to miss that moment and let it pass by because I don't need to like capture it in a photo? Does that filter into your work?
I absolutely bring these into my work. And I don't quite get your question entirely. And the part, because if I miss something, usually I don't know that.
True.
Did you mean more of a decision to choose?
I meant more, do you consciously choose to miss a moment, like to not photograph it? Like if something's happening, do you go, this is not for a photo, this is just a moment that's to be left there?
For example, the mother of the bride falls down the stairs. Would you photograph that?
Yes. I actually had a similar experience. That was not a mom fell down, but when people exchange vow under a thing, I don't know. And that time, that one was built by 3 pieces of wood. And it's not during the ceremony. The ceremony is done. People are moving them and moving this thing away. Then people afterward can go to take some pictures. And during that, the bride was below that, and then and then dropped down. And but she is a very strong woman. Like she doesn't really present it a little bit. You can see that, but. I couldn't take the picture of the thing falling down at that point. I missed that. But how she react afterward, like father next to her, and she was talking to them, like having that. I'm still taking pictures of these, and afterward the sister, I think, come to hug her, and then she cannot hold anymore. And then I was still taking picture at that point, and then. But afterward, I went to the groom and I asked, I know this is an unfortunate event. Do you want to be included in your coverage, actually? I mean, it's their choice. And it's no problem. And then, okay, I will keep these pictures and give it to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's good. I mean, I'm the same as you. I feel like videos, I don't want to say it's a little bit different, but there's, you know how with photography, there's like, you have to pick the moment that you decide to actually take the image. And then once the image is done, you're good to then, like, you could then go and help the mother up, for example. Whereas with a video, you kind of need to, there's a time where you just need to kind of hold the shot to actually capture the whole thing. And then there's that space of time can really make you seem like a very unkind person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. That actually, it reminded me of a wedding that we did last year. I remember the two little small kids.
Oh.
And it was an outdoor ceremony. And it was like one of these gardens, and you come down the stairs, but the stairs are uneven. Stone garden, uneven steps. Anyway, the flower boy holding the hands of the flower girl, they must be about like with 3
and 5 or something.
3 and
like
5.
Yeah.
He just takes a huge tumble from the very top of the stairs and pulls the flower girl down, and they both come tumbling down the stairs. And I'm here videoing the whole thing, going, "Oh no!"
Yeah.
And then it's like, do I put this in the film? Like,
And did you?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
But I want to know a little bit of that story. Is that they didn't injure themselves, right?
They didn't injure themselves. No,
Okay.
it was more shock, which was amazing because they really, like, kids bounce. Kids, you know,
it was like 3 or 4 steps that she came
It was-
down, and it
yeah.
was hard steps. But the dad just came running along, picked her up, and she was fine.
yeah. But there was that moment where everyone's just like, "Oh, is someone gonna help them?" Oh, the celebrant goes and helps, but
I think
yeah.
when you put it into the video, it is such a great moment.
It's,
I mean,
it's such a big part and big memory from the wedding that it kind of has to go in the film, doesn't it? Because otherwise, they'll be like, that big thing happened and it's not captured.
yeah.
So had to go in.
And it actually documents this flower boy and flower girl that at that time, at their age, they experience these things. It is very valuable.
Yeah. I do wonder, as they grow up, what is going to be their perception of that moment. Like, watching them, will they remember? Will they remember watching it back? I don't know. Interesting. I want to ask you something. Did you update your website fairly recently? Or no?
I
Like
updated
last
it last
year?
year. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. Because that's what I thought. I liked your old website, though. What made you change it?
Oh, wait a second. You saw my last version of the website?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Quite some time ago. Actually, how to say it? My photography style changed a bit. And this is one of the reasons. Mainly also the coloring. So I actually reacted quite some pictures for this new website to have the color scheme that I would like to go for now. And also, I feel like actually, my last website, the first language was German.
Right.
And that was actually not my fluent language. And if my first impression given to people, I'm speaking fluent German, like how my husband rolls, that is a wrong first impression, I feel like. And my husband actually rolled in a way that is like, I like it. Like the customer I got from that, it is really talking to me a lot. So his language is really good. But just doesn't represent me too much when I was talking. If you get to know me a little bit, I'm really like, oh yes, like first shot, full stop. Or paragraph wise. And so I want to change the style of the language a little bit to really sound like me more, and also use English as my first language to get in touch with my customer. And that is the main motivation to change the website.
Yes, and that helped me do more research on you because I could actually read what was on your website. So thank you, thank you. In fact, there have been a few guests on the podcast. Well, a few. There's been one, Fair Huristi. He does all of his stuff in Spanish, I believe.
His video stuff.
And I want to watch all of his content because I think he's amazing. But I don't understand a word he's saying, so I can't. And I want to, I want to, but I can't. I understand your reasons, but yeah.
You mentioned.
Hang on. Sorry, before you ask, actually, I had a really funny thought. When you were doing those Amazon product pictures, was it in just a white cube? Like, is that what you said? Like a very simple white backdrop image?
The image looked like from the white cube, but that device is quite a large one.
Okay. Yeah. Just because on your About You page, you're sitting in a black chair in a white room, and I thought, interesting. Well, yeah, exactly. I was going to ask. Is that you saying to people that you are the product that they're paying for? Like, do you have another team? Are you a single shooter? Like, do you have any people on doing your business? Like, tell us about that.
I would say my only employee, is my husband. My photography journey and also this business, we are together. Mm-hmm. But you will never see us being together in a wedding. And the fact is that he asked too many questions. So go away. But in real life, so accounting and also even the websites you're seeing, I am the person who create everything, put it out, but we develop the content together to mentally really challenging the thoughts. Yeah, and this website was more straightforward. The one before is really like when you say it in this way, could that mean it being like that, la la la, all these things that we discuss a lot. So I absolutely say he's the part of this photography business. But when it comes to getting in touch with clients and doing the wedding editing pictures, is all by myself.
Yeah. If I might be getting this wrong, I might be getting this website mixed up, but navigating your old website, it felt like it dropped down and it moved to the side and then dropped down. And I was just thinking that because your website, it's not like your average website. And I've been on a lot of creative photographers' websites where it's just kind of plain, here's loads of images of your work. It's a little bit different on your website because, in fact, is that your main page? It is your main page. Yeah. Picture of you right on the front, and then there's just JOMO and then words, and there's a little bit of time. You're telling people instead of showing people. And that's quite different to how a lot of other photographers display their website. And to be honest, I quite like that this is different. I feel more engaged when I'm going through your website and scrolling, and then there's a video of you, and I'm like, yes, another video. I want to hear more about the people behind the camera, and I think that's a big, I don't want to say fault. It's maybe something that a lot of creatives need to work on, is showing themselves, because we are a service-based industry, and we are, like you said, we are the product in most terms. Obviously, if you have a team or whatever, a little bit different, but it's kind of like a face-to-face service that we offer. And I like that you lead with that. And I have to kind of go out of my way a little bit to find your photographs. And that's great. So yeah, tell me about your website.
Thank you. I develop in my old website, I have quite some wording, but I never really. I was never good at SEO. Is this called SEO? SEO. So
SEO, yeah.
in Germany, called SEO. And so even when I had paragraphs or words on the website, I don't think my SEO really helping me anything. And then when it comes to this version, I was thinking, okay, when I am not good at that anyway, why do I somehow still try to do that? And also, a lot of websites out there, you can really see that they are writing for the SEO sake, and I really hate it. I'm sorry, but yeah. So and also nowadays, to be honest, when a paragraph is longer than 3 sentences, I don't want to read. So that is also. I put myself out, and then I thought, okay, then if this is the case, what is my message actually? I'm selling pictures, and I just show you pictures. And I will tell a little bit of my not theory, but like how I feel or my belief or my value on my website in a very short way. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, then maybe you just look at the picture. It's fine. And then get to a point like earlier you said, the JOMO part. That is most probably one of the longest how I define my philosophy basically there. And but I still try to do it in a very digestible way. So one sentence like that. And go to a point to the video. And actually, I got to be very honest to you guys. I am really a person don't quite want to show my face.
I understand
but I'm here now. I just feel so how to say it, like unnatural, and so but that video I was also made by coincidence. So and then I thought, I have a video anyway, then I can also put it there. And just to get to know me a little bit, like my talking style, I'm one sentence. Know my voice, and before they really talk to me on the phone, if they get so far to watch that video, at least get a little bit familiar of my style, then that is the purpose of that video I put there as well.
Yeah. You mentioned like re-editing some photos for the launch of this website, and then you're talking about your style. So how would you describe your style of photography and the work that you create?
I think nowadays I would be really saying I am more honest than before. Honest in a way that even when starting from the moment I take pictures, I try not to use so many how to say it? Back then I would use prism to put in front of my lens, and also quite some foreground. But now I am more what has happened there, I pass by, and then I really take that picture. I am still having certain artistic thing I will put in front of my lens, but I do not do the art for the art's sake. I really need to feel that moment. I want to use that, then I use that. Then that is one thing about the changing the style of my taking pictures. And also I changed the color of my picture quite dramatically. The old style tend to be more yellowish, and nowadays I would choose more bluish color, and also bring the green back more.
Yes. And I appreciate that, because there was a tendency to burn greens, wasn't there? I want to correct a mistake that I just made. My laptop had your main page as your about page. So what I was talking about was actually your about page. Okay. And if people are watching this online and I keep reaching behind, like under the desk, I'm not stroking Greg's leg. I have a loose cable, and it's making it very hard to hear. So, sorry about that.
Greg looks so calm.
Greg's just happy I was anywhere near.
Just enjoying the leg rubs. It's fine.
Stop it. People will believe you. I want to know more about what drives you to photography. Like, what is your why? Everyone always asks in business to have a why, and I'm always intrigued because mine has changed throughout the years. So I want to know what your why is in business and if it has changed since starting.
It changed dramatically, actually. The why in the beginning was very straightforward. I need to earn some money. And
yes.
Actually, how to say it? I won't say I love photography at that time. Okay. But I know somehow I am interested in this activity, and at that time I thought, okay, I had quite some experience of getting into a job, and then I am not satisfied anymore. I feel shit about that, and then I don't do it ever again. Like I had that time, and then I was thinking, what prevent myself to be like this again? And then I thought, okay, then just choose something that I like it enough. So I don't love it, but I just like it enough, then I can do it as a job. So, and that was the time when I really want to earn some money. And then over time, I feel the wedding industry, I sound so much like a, how to say it, like, I feel the love. I have to say. I can't escape it, but I really have to say, this is a very magical industry. Like, we are coming together to celebrate that day, and compared to a lot of other business, like a divorce lawyer, come on, this job is brilliant. And I think I'm also lucky enough that I get a lot of how to say it, my clients are really treating me so well, and I as a person grow up with my business. And now my why is really just being there. Like I, as a medium, I want to be there to capture their day as honest as possible. And this is my pure feeling towards the why, like why I step out from the door each time I go to meet my clients to their wedding. And that simple.
Did you feel when... So I'm just going to ask Greg a question here. Greg, did you ever feel lost when you were younger? Like, did you have it? Like, for example, like for me, there were certain people in my life who just knew what they wanted to do, and they went off and did it. Did you ever feel like? I don't think
I've ever heard that. Like, we ended up in the wedding industry because of sort of your wedding, and then that's just, it's felt right, but has it been like, I was made to do this? Yeah. No, but it's felt right for the last 15 years. If it hadn't, then we wouldn't have done it.
I know. I wonder how many people listening, like, what's more common, that people know what they want to do? Like as a kid, you ask a kid, I'm like, I want to be an astronaut.
Never work out.
Never. Move on. They end up as an artist. Ooh. Like, I wonder how many of our listeners are of the same ilk as that mindset. Like, do you feel out there that you were born to do what you do, or have you learned to appreciate the job that you've fallen into? I wonder. Let me know, actually. Let me know in the comment section down below. There isn't one, it's a podcast, but if you're on YouTube, I would love to hear you. Or just go on our Instagram and let me know. Just randomly, pick a post and go, I was always lost. Anyway, moving on. So you've talked about wanting to capture authentically other people's weddings or other people's stories. What's your approach to doing that?
The whole process starts quite before the wedding. I'm not sure whether I really communicate a lot with my clients, but I am very curious on what they're talking. So the moment when we are talking, I already want to know about their life, and they just keep talking in front of me, and I really write it down and try to see it from their angle on that wedding day. And of course, sometimes they will be very straightforward. I want to see this and that, and then I know what I can take the picture. But sometimes there are people will tell you something to, for example, I don't care about too much about this. Then I already know, okay, if I want to be authentic from this person's point of view, actually, I don't really put too much attention on something that I feel artistically beautiful, but not from her point of view, for example. So I try to know as much their point of view, how they imagine their day could be, and then bring this intention to the wedding and take pictures from that point of view.
Okay. Is there any, talking about your pre-wedding workflow then, because again, we're speaking to Rick Liston about his pre, and I know nearly every single wedding photographer has a pre-wedding workflow, but can you talk about yours and in a way that's like what did you used to do when you started out to get to know a couple, and how has that changed, and what have you implemented differently that has really made capturing something authentic? Like questionnaires, or do you meet them at the pub, or?
I actually, the questionnaire thing, I always thought about that, but I still didn't do that. So it's my current pre-work, the workflow before the wedding is not a questionnaire. I, depending on where the couples are, some of them I may be able to meet, for example, a month before their wedding.
Yep.
Then, if not, then at least a day before their wedding. Mainly, actually, I also want to look at the location. So either look at the location a month before the wedding or a day before the wedding. And at this time, then actually already have a common topic to talk about, their wedding. So what I actually do is that first mental rehearse with them how they want their day to be, and I join that rehearsal. So I basically in telling them, hey, how about in this place we are blah 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 blah, and so just let's see how they react and stuff like that. And I think that was the point, would be they feel very comfortable, not only I as a person, but also my way of working. They know at this time when they come to this point, they will see me here, something like this. And then also I will sit them down and then go through their timeline with them, and also give some tips to them. And and then also during the conversation, of course, a lot will come out, like what is their job, what they're doing, and where the father is coming to here, like all this small talk. Then will also happen at that time. So I enjoy this very close communication on that day, the day before the wedding, and I have no time limit for them. So as long as they don't want to leave me, I will be there with them and then just chat.
Yeah. And you're using that purely as relationship building. So you're no camera, you're just a human being being present with them.
Exactly. I feel a little bit lame that the only one time I will use the camera will be with my phone. So for example, I have some idea in my head. I want to remind myself, hey, this is the point, you want to do this and that. Then I will take this picture, or for example, check the sunlight. I would drop this down on my phone. But other than that, I can't really at the same time, for example, make a story or stuff like that. I cannot handle both at the same time. Yeah.
Fair enough. And so right at the beginning, we didn't really talk about your clients. In fact, we didn't even give you a chance to introduce yourself and what you do, which we normally do. So, listeners, they're going, yeah, but who is this person? Like, who is this? But for people who don't know of you or your work, what style of weddings do you shoot? Where are your clients based? Talk about your talk about your clients and how obviously you've alluded to shooting locally to a degree, but you also do destination work. So tell us all that all the elements that make up your portfolio and your client base.
I think I mainly attract people with wedding with kind of timeless and elegant style. Mm-hmm. I was pretty surprised. The brides they turns out to be having such a elegant outfit that I was like, oh my god, I love it, like this, and then sorry. There were multiple things in the questions. My plans, right?
I know. I'm so sorry.
And yes, I photograph mainly in Germany.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And my area is around Frankfurt. Mm-hmm. But I'm not living in Frankfurt. I work. The wedding will be around that area, or even go to Cologne if you're familiar with Germany places. Mm-hmm. Will be that place, or the other end will be Stuttgart, something like this. Okay. And so southern part a little bit more. Uh-huh. And when it comes to destination weddings, and at the moment I'm trying to build up a portfolio, but still somewhere closer to Germany. Like so far I didn't go to US yet. I got requests from England, but somehow also doesn't work. But mainly country around surrounding Germany.
Yeah. Okay.
And what's your final output for your couples? Like, what are you delivering? Is it online gallery? Is there albums included? And then I guess also within that, like, how are you pricing your packaging for them?
I offered online gallery to download the pictures. I offered a memory box. So in this box, there is a USB stick and also some fine art prints.
Nice.
And basically, that's it. Mm-hmm. And if people want me to design their album, I can do that. I offer that to them as well, but it's not in the package. Yeah. And also in the gallery, there is an online shop. So when people want to order further prints or even design their own album, they can also do it there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is basically what I offered. And my pricing, the smallest package I'm having is 3,000 euros plus traveling and accommodation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What does that translate into British pounds? 3,000 euros?
Don't know off the top of my head.
I'm not entirely sure. I wonder if we could use Chat AI and talk to her. Or you could just Google it. You Google it quickly, Greg. So you offer just photography. You don't do any video, as many photographers are starting to. How many images does a client end up with?
It's not that I didn't try video.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Actually, no. I didn't really try it as a to offer as a service. I am really bad, I feel like, at this point, and I do not have the time to investigate further. You know, when it comes to the headphone, I'm already panicking like that.
Don't panic. You're okay.
Yeah, and so I did try some video just for my Instagram, like test a little bit, and but that's it. Those are with music, something like this.
Okay.
Yeah, that will be in the real part.
Did I miss this? I must have missed this. Hang on. I'm just gonna check it out. No, I won't.
Googling my show.
I'm just Googling. Where's any video? Oh, there's some video. Oh, yes. Okay. Is that just done by just with your phone?
Yes. No. Wait a second. There are several versions.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So some of them was with my camera. Some of them could be with my phone.
Okay. No. I'm seeing phone stuff at the moment. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Is that something that you might consider adding to a package, like content creation option or add-on, or is this just a bit of fun documenting in the side?
I actually, how to say it, a few years ago, I did try to mount my camera on top of mount my phone on top of the camera.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then whatever my phone gets, and then I just crop it together and give it to the clients. And that was not a product. That was really like, I have some fun thing and I give it as a gift to my clients. Right. Yeah, I cannot see that as a perfect service to provide at that point as well. And but it was super stressful. And I didn't do that since that year on, 2 years ago, I think, at least. And I'm also thinking about this content creation thing, but I'm very sure about myself that it's an either or. I cannot do both at the same time.
It is tricky to balance that as a solo person. I've always admired hybrid shooters who can do photography and video at the same time. And obviously sometimes I see them with their phone out as well. And I just think, oh my God, like, pick one. But yeah, it's tough. And in fact, actually, Greg and I have been talking about the content creation side. Because there's two of us and we know we overshoot. And so other than the documentary parts of the day, like the ceremony, like we like to tell the ceremony in full and we like to tell the speeches in full. But other than that, Greg isn't really required for the video. I'm sorry, Greg, you are required. You are.
I'll just leave.
But I don't, it's, for what we offer now, we don't need that extra footage that Greg gets. So we've just decided this year that he's going to be content creation on every wedding, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, just entice people. And so we've got more social media content, I suppose, for our own benefit. Yeah. We're not totally selfless. Like, you're not getting more content. It's really just for us, but you can have it.
Is included in your package now?
It will be.
For this year, we'll just do it included, start adding on to new bookings. But yeah.
Do our clients know? No, they do not. But I'm hoping they're just going to see this extra stuff and be like, oh my God, thank you so much.
I actually think that is exactly the case. I was, how to say it? I was looking on Instagram and then always saw this kind of video and I thought, how can a person do two things at the same time? And then like some negative voice in my head. Until a day I saw a model, I think she is a model, and then on her story highlight there is a lot of content creating short videos. And clearly that is an angle, is not a guest. It's not from a guest. The point of view is really knowing how to avoid certain things. Can see that. And but when this person put that into story and get a immediate feedback from the day, that is so valuable, I feel like. So I think that is totally something, when you give it to your clients, they will be really happy.
Yeah. And I should probably preface this because I'm sure there are going to be some photographers that we're going to be working with this year. What we're not going to do is take photographs during or videos. Well, maybe some video stills. It's going to be more behind the scenes. We're not going to take your pose setups, take a photograph for phone content and give them to the couple the next day. I would. Oh, Greg, you pulled a face there. Like, well, I might. No, no,
I don't know.
Sorry, I don't get it. What you won't provide?
As in, during the couple session, when you just have that alone time with the couple, what I would, because I don't want to step on any toes when we do this. So for any of our photographer pals that we're going to be working with, what we're not going to do is take a photograph using our phone of their photograph to give to the bride and groom the next day. Because in my eyes, if I was to take a photograph of their setup, I would just feel that would be incredibly rude, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
So we'll just be aware of that. I never like to step on people's toes in business. It's why we've never offered photography. Like, we've only been video. We've been video. We've never done any stills. We're very passionate about that. And I'm not saying if you've offered hybrid, you're stepping on our toes or anything. But no, I'm just.
So
kidding.
is there? I think there is nowadays there is a specific job role called content creator, right? They take video of the basically behind the scene. So I think it is somewhere in between thing, but behind the scene is different than how you really compose as a cinematic outcome. So that is something really different, I would say.
Yeah, the content creation, is great because it's that next day or within the 48 hours, you're delivering this kind of, whether or not we'll color it, I'm sure we will, but it's supposed to be, I don't even want to say what it's supposed to be, but it can be just raw photos out your camera and you just give them. But the problem with that, there's no storytelling aspect to it. You're just like, there's content from a point of view, and it's great because it's the next day. And when we make a wedding film, there is story to it.
Yeah.
There's things missing if it needs to be missing in the story, or there's just more craftsmanship in what we offer as video. So yeah, but that takes time. But anyway, I do want to talk about your boxes that you mentioned that you give clients. Where do you find those boxes? Are they branded? I know Mark Bakura of Wooden Banana does stuff like wooden boxes. Is there a specific supplier that you go to for those, or do you just go on Amazon and buy some wooden boxes? And
I am using a box with a linen material as the outside, and it does not have my logo. It's just a box. Okay. And this year I do it in black. So this is a black box. And
nice.
Yeah. Supplier, do you know Alibaba?
Alibaba. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
I order it from them.
Cool. So price wise per unit, what would you be looking at spending on your couples for
this product?
Yeah.
This product, if I really just sell it as a product, because I said my smallest package is already including that. But off season, I also do a smaller wedding, which does not include that yet. If they want to have it, then I will. I'm selling the €100 per box.
Okay, yeah. Cool. Yeah. Cool. We've actually been looking at adjusting our boxes that we give. So I know that photographers like to give their final product to couples after the fact, and it always felt weird doing that. So to be a little bit different from photographers, we actually give or we used to give a specifically designed it was like a folding cardboard box with foam insert, and there would be whiskey in it, and there used to be a printed out booklet, and we would give that on the morning of, just so it wasn't like, just so we could beat the photographers, really. Just so we could beat you
really
down and make you feel bad.
It sounds so much like having your brand identity in this box.
Yes. Yeah. It was very much like that. We've actually upped the game. And I'll probably, I don't want to, can I say the photographer that I mean, not copying, but inspired by Andrew Ray. I'm sorry, but we're going to be also selling whiskey boxes. I'm so sorry if you're listening to this. It's we actually wanted to do this originally, but our prices were not as high as we'd wanted to be able to do this. But I had, when I went to school, my art and design teacher, after I left school, my art and design teacher created a company called Black and Oak, and he does like wooden products. And so I went to him and I was like, hey, we're thinking about doing this whiskey box. Can you do something? And so we've been working with him to design a box that we're going to give our couples, again, because we wanted to move away from the foam inserts with the cardboard. It just didn't seem that great anymore. Anyway.
And the whole production will be in Scotland.
Yes,
yeah.
So it's close enough to me that I can go and pick them up to save some shipping because they were quite expensive.
But then the production cost in total will also be pretty high. I mean, the quality is guaranteed. That is very good, and you can always go to check the process. That is very valuable, I would say.
Yes. But just the idea of it being. So our brand, like, we like to reflect on it being where we do weddings in Scotland and make films for adventurous, couples. And so we like whiskey. That's what we're going to offer them in this little keepsake box that's going to be burnt and branded. Yeah. I was like, when I was speaking to the guy, I was just like, hey, I want it to look gnarly. Make it gnarly. Burn it. just do whatever you can to make it look cool. We're yet to see the final product.
Yep.
We've paid. We've paid. But I look forward to seeing them. So
we trust them.
Yeah. So Andrew Ray, the idea we've had for a long time, we did copy a little bit. I'm so sorry. Yeah. But I hope you're well.
Hey, I'm Ashley from With Jack. I'm one of the sponsors of the Perspective podcast. With Jack helps to keep photographers in business by supporting them financially and legally if they have problems with a client or they make a mistake in their work. We've all had that fear of our CF card or our hard drive failing and losing important photos. You can find out more at withjack.co.uk. Head over there and find out how we can help you be a confident creative.
Anyway, enough about us. Talk to us about your creative approach on a wedding. Obviously, you've talked about going to a wedding venue and, seeing it all, but I don't know if it's like this in Germany, but the light over here can change so drastically that we used to go to wedding venues and check them out, but you'd go on the wedding day and it would look totally different because of the light. So how do you balance the different light in a venue, or even your creative approach to dealing with people on a wedding and your couples? Like, give us your overarching approach.
I'm loading. Give me some time.
Yeah, sorry. I really need to learn to shorten my questions. I know my listeners are thinking that. Yeah.
Okay. I can extend my background a little bit more because when I was in England, I was studying event management. And so my management approach of an event, I actually really put it into my photography business in terms of how my shooting plan should be. Then I will have it there. And but this is simply put is more or less time wise. And what I need from the couple, for example, or even their maid of honor, people who are responsible for the wedding planner, I need as many details as possible. Like, for example, any surprise that couple do not know, but I want to know. well in advance, then I will know where to place myself, something like that. Or even know something like cutting cake. If they did not plan where to place the cake, I will check like the lighting and stuff. And I had experience what comes out on the day, weather-wise, is not what I plan. But I also have backup plan, so plan B. And so my plan is always having a good lighting. Plan B, sometimes, according to the location, I may even need to look for it several hours before the wedding. So because the weather forecast is sort of reliable, then I can go as early as possible to plan a plan B out as well. And so my creativities really highly rely on my planning, because when I enter the fixed that, for example, 10 hours, I am then enter there. So I know my schedule and stuff, and then just let the things happen. In terms of, for example, out of nowhere, there is a light here. Can I make use of that? Then I only want to make creative decision at that time. And but at that time, what do I do? So at that time, I assign it to take pictures of the shoes, for example. Then I will leave it to the fate then. So at that time, do these things, what the environment gives me, then I create there. Yeah.
Right.
So this is more or less my creative approach.
Cool.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you're doing a few more sort of fashion shoots and studio-based shoots. Do you like use style shoots and stuff to spark ideas and try them so that you can be prepared for weddings in the future?
Style shoot. Actually, in some years ago, I tried. And then gradually I recognized the scale can be much smaller. I don't really need to make a full large style shoot to deliver my message. And I really down to a point that what are the style I would prefer, and or hair, makeup, what kind of style is that, or the emotional language, and then what the flower would be or decoration would be comes along that. Yeah. Okay. So when it comes to the project I'm doing nowadays, I really rarely do style shoot, especially with my own planning. So when there are wedding planner approach me and say, hey, I have an idea, then I see whether it will talk to my brand. Then if it's sort of still matching, then we go for it. But I do not create by my own the whole thing anymore.
Yeah. Is it like when you said something smaller and not like a big shoot, is it just your control is a lot smaller because you're getting other people to help? Or is it not, when you said smaller, do you mean like it wouldn't be the whole shoot, it would be like an element of a shoot? So the bouquet or the dress or a certain detail?
The size really just get to the bouquet. If I manage to make a photo shoot out, and I won't make a table setting or ceremony, how the chair look, these things. I think there are people much more creative than I do in this regard. So I do not create those.
Okay. Cool. Sorry, I made a face at Greg because we just got a call. Who is your call from, Greg?
Random mobile number.
Random
mobile answer.
Number. I mean, I kind of wanted to. I mean, would it come through the podcast if you answered it?
I don't know.
That'd be hilarious. You know, what we haven't mentioned yet on the podcast is the fact that you're a rangefinder rising star. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, that's like, winning that sort of accolade, like, what does that mean to you on a personal level?
That is actually quite important to me. Especially the imposter syndrome at the back. And before before that, I don't even know whether my lighting approach is correct. Like, I always feel like I'm doing things wrong, even though I know there's no right and wrong, but I always feel wrong.
Okay.
And I went to some mentoring. They will talk about my pictures and give me some advice, something like that. And it is okay. Like, I will take those opinion and see how I can improve that. But when it comes to a wedding, because they take pictures, real wedding pictures, so it's nothing I can really set up, real wedding pictures, and also look at it from the beginning to the end. And those are not the picture I would say artistically the best of the best, but this is the real, is it realist? Is the word? Is the most real? Is the most real pictures of that time of me, and I apply to I hand out those pictures, and then a feedback is telling me, hey, overall you are doing a good job, and then I already gained that confidence to like going to a wedding. I know, okay, I'm fine, like this. So it's for me very important.
Yeah. When you mentioned whether or not your light was correct, like what exactly did you mean? Like, what would be wrong with your lighting?
At the moment I'm using a Sony camera, and before that, so even before I majority of the pictures I hand out, that was taken by my Nikon camera, the DSLR at that time. Okay. And I always had a problem of taking backlit pictures. So when I edit them, I always feel, how can I do better? Something like this. Yeah. That is the backlit things is really the makes me feeling like, should I not take this, but in a midday light, having light on that on the face is not that compelling. And I also like to make at that time more dramatic pictures, like darker. Is that also some people would like that? And like a lot of concerns in my head, how to use the light, and also how to use the light for the couple, and that makes me very uncertain the whole time at that point. Yeah.
You did mention earlier that you were using constant light. I can't remember if that was in the studio or not.
Studio
light. Okay. Yeah. So when you're like, first of all, I suppose I should ask, do you use flash? It seems to be quite popular. I don't know if it's going to be popular in 2025, but photographers using flash, even outdoors, you bastards. No, it's fine. I'm just joking. What, like, do you use flash? How do you use it? When do you use it?
I use flash. Cool. And I always have a flash mount on my camera. And I'm sure I'm one of those people you were cursing.
No, I'm purely a joke. I literally do not mind at all.
I always ask the videographer, would that be a scene that is okay? I know will influence the footage. So if the videographer is telling me, okay, then I continue. If not, then I don't use it. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And so I use flash, and also I use it in civil wedding. So civil hall, I will use it. In church, I will also use it. So, but also under the condition I communicate with the people before. So in the church, I will ask the priest, is it okay? If it is not, then I don't use. And so in the civil hall, then as well. And also the couple. And what is their value? Like, because I remember just last year in a church, very dark, that church. And the groom was looking sad when we were looking at the church. That was basically the first time, the second time when I was there. Then say, the time like this, we already know there is no sunshine on that day. And the church is so dark, like, is it okay? And then I'm saying, like, yes, I can pump my camera, but it's not the prettiest. And I have my flash. If that is okay for you, I'm using my flash, and that's certainly not a problem like that. So when the people who receive the picture, they want that in this way, then I will continue doing it like that. Yeah. So this is how I use the flash in important moment. But of course there is like outdoor ceremony. When I don't need to use it, then I won't use it.
Yeah.
And also, like you said, like very trendy at the moment, those flashy thing. I also do that.
I mean,
and yeah, and but I have two cameras. One camera with the flash on, another one do not. So the do not one is like more talking about feelings. That is that camera. So when I know I want to deliver some certain feeling without a flash, I immediately have another camera for that purpose.
Okay.
Yeah.
What focal? Oh, interesting. What focal length would be on the camera that you described as feeling, and what would be more? Can I guess? Am I allowed to guess? Okay.
Yes, of course.
I'm gonna say. Do you shoot prime? First of all, I suppose I should ask.
Yes, I also shoot prime.
Okay. With the more intimate one, is it more of a tighter focal length, like a 50 or an 85?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the one with the flash, is it a 35 or maybe a 20? No. Yeah, 35?
The one with the flash, I use zoom lens.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I was going to say 24-70 because of your slight hesitation of saying you shooting primes, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's your approach to using either or both?
Actually, my 24-70 is my must-have lens. And especially in a wedding, if I don't want to walk too much. It's not that I don't walk.
We're all thinking it. Yeah,
I can zoom. Yeah, and actually, because of the, I always quite in the area of 24 actually.
Oh, okay.
24 to 35, and that get the like I don't know how to describe that feeling. That out of words. That is like certain kind of. Can you help me here? Like compelling, like the not only the feeling you get from an epic picture, you can also use that on portrait. So
right. Okay.
In the range of 24 to 30, that will always give a feeling of a enlightenment kind of feeling, I would say.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And when it comes to sometimes there's usually not important moment, then I will take out my feeling camera then to see what's going on, small detail, like also especially ceremony, then that is the lens to look at the parents, maid of honor, and small things like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you described it as a feeling camera. I really like that. I don't think has anyone else described
that before.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Also, it kind of leads to the fact that you're kind of thinking in a storytelling point of view when it comes to your focal lengths, which I wonder if many people else do. I sometimes do. I
think most photographers probably would. Wide, medium, tight to some extent.
Yeah. Do you know the one thing that it's funny being a cinematographer, because when you look at film and cinematography from like Hollywood or even indie films, you're looking at more wider lenses and they shoot quite close and backlit. And that's kind of like the basics of like a cinematic look in a film. And I've never really liked anything tighter than a 35. And a 35 isn't even tight.
No.
Which is bizarre. And the reason for that is I feel, well, one, I find it hard to shoot with a 50. I don't know why I find it hard to shoot with a 50, because apparently that's what your eye naturally sees, that kind of focal length. Obviously more, but it sees in that kind of field of view, apparently. But I've always felt anything like further up is too voyeuristic.
Yeah,
I feel. I don't know. What's your like? Do I suppose I've seen photographers create amazing work, and it doesn't feel that way. And I don't know what. Maybe I'm just shit. But do you ever feel like certain images are more? They need to be more voyeuristic than others, or is that just a weird perspective that I have? I don't know.
More pictures. What pictures? What? Sorry. Can you repeat that question again?
It's like when you use like an 85, say, I feel like the images are quite voyeuristic.
Okay.
Would you agree with that statement, or maybe I'm just weird?
You're not weird.
Okay.
The thing is that 85 is usually, if we just talk about photography, is usually a portrait lens, and because we are delivering in a gallery way. So if there are pictures just with very close with the emotion of certain people in that picture, that is also okay. Yeah. Especially in the context of in a gallery, the picture before that is already in a ceremony, and then these pictures is a zoom in to the father look and something like that. So when the context is right, then it is fine. Yeah. And also on the other hand, I also use this lens for people who are larger, is taller. I am 158, and sometimes if I really using just 35, let's say, the proportion is not right because of my height. And I'd rather to go further away, use 85 or sometimes 50 is enough, but 85 can also do the job. Then the whole proportion of the picture, even with a full-length body, then it will be more correct, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. I can understand that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
When you're shooting with an 85, do you are you shooting landscape or are you shooting portrait?
Usually portrait.
Okay. Because I think that's what it is in my head. I feel like when you're shooting landscape with an 85 on somebody, I feel like it doesn't seem right.
Maybe
it feels like it's I don't know. I want to hear if people are having the same point of view as a cinematographer, or you can just send me abuse. I don't mind.
I actually had an experience. Sorry.
Oh no, on you go.
Go for it.
I had an experience. I met a videographer, and at that is a very interesting conversation. I was having my 50, and then he came next to me and asked me, "Hey, do you know a 85 lens? It is very good." Like I said, I know, but I am getting rid of the 85 at the moment. Like I want to purposefully change some lens. Sometimes I rely on some a secure shot, then I don't improve. So at that point I was so relying on the 85, then I want to get rid of that. But I know on the other end, there are videographer who also like to take quite some footage with the 85 lens.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I know the 85 is really great for sniping people who, it's easy to hide if you're further away.
Yeah.
But I like feeling like
part of it all.
All. And there's a certain perspective that you're missing when you shoot from further away. It's like when I see cinematographers shoot a dance floor with a long lens on the outside. I'm like, get the fuck out here, pal. Get yourself on that dance floor. I want to see some shapes. So I'm so sorry if you're listening to this going, oh my God, this guy's really I'm sorry if I've offended you. I obviously don't mean that. But
I think it's really your point of view. Everyone has their perspective.
Yeah.
And your product, meaning in this case, my pictures and your video is presenting you. If you are a person who don't look at things in this way, why would your picture would use that lens to create something like this? Right? Yeah. So no one will be mad at you if you don't use it and you don't feel it now to use it.
Yeah. I know for a fact that I've just upset a whole load of cinematographers because it's like the Philip White style. I mean, maybe even Pete Lawson films. I know they shoot on an 85 and that's like their prime lens. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be so judgmental. It's 2025. You do you. Sending you all the love.
Going back to awards for a minute, you mentioned that like getting that rangefinder recognition validated your work a bit and gave you that sort of feeling. So if there's someone sitting at home feeling that imposter syndrome and the pressure to try and get that validation, like, do you have any advice for them to overcome that imposter syndrome?
Limit the time to look at social media. Yeah. How to say it? This is so. And also invest in valuable education, I would say. In the end, the imposter syndrome will be here like a flu. So we can't get away from that. But how we can take care of ourselves is something else. So the meaning of don't look at social media too much and also get quality education is that, for example, watch something about lighting, how you can do lighting in this scenario. And then you are doing that on that scene. You are, you got this information from somewhere. You have the root of what you're doing. So you have the why at the back. So you're uncertain at that point. It is okay. But ultimately, I do it for a reason. Then it is already enough. So it is like how I see that. And the imposter syndrome comes from also comparing oneself to massive amount of content out there, and really just decluster the head by not looking at that too much. Then it will already create more space to look at more valuable information.
Yeah. Do you have any places where people can go if they wanted to learn more about light, in particular light?
I actually quite a YouTube fan.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah,
cool.
I learned a lot of things on YouTube by myself, and I also, before I really got into So the first client I explained to you, right, is a friend of a friend, right? But really, before I entered the wedding industry, I also bought a package from a US photographer. This is a wedding photography 101, something like that, to just learn from the beginning what I can expect to see. Even though nowadays I can say like US approach to Germany is completely different. At least I have the basic. I know what that is. And but I watch quite something from US on YouTube as well. So I would say simple thing like in the Adorama TV thing is already having quite some photographers. They are telling, hey, how to use one light to do these things, and just try a little bit out then.
Yeah. Who are your favorite YouTube creatives to watch? I'm putting you on the spot.
If I say perspective, that is too obvious, right? Like I have to say, I follow you guys.
Oh, you do? Oh, thank you.
I follow you guys, and then I recently really keep listening to that when I'm cooking, or Spotify I downloaded when I was driving. So then I listen to you guys, that's for sure.
Oh, amazing. Thanks so much.
Thanks for contacting me. Then I know you exist, really. And I saw how many amazing job you guys have done. Like the people you interview, what they talk is really inspiring. Yeah. So
I know.
Thanks for being there.
Well, thank you for being one of those awesome guests that we've had on.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, we have had some amazing guests. I will not lie.
Yeah.
And it's been a privilege to speak to every single one of them. Just before we move on to show and tell, which we will do in 2 seconds, I just want to say, when you mentioned lighting and stuff, I don't know if anyone remembers Brooke Johnson's podcast with us. She mentioned that she had a lighting guide, and I don't actually ever remember if I left a review on it. Anyway, I looked through it, and it's a great resource for learning light. She's one of probably one of my favorite photographers on like a creative level.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in learning about light, I will say go to Brooke Johnson, and she's got a lighting guide. I cannot remember how much it is right now. But I'm sure it's somewhere on our website. If you go and have a look at it,
We'll try and get a link to it as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Let's go to show and tell.
Oh.
And before we do, I'm going to grab a beer.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome, Greg. Very
Here's the
welcome.
first image.
Okay. So there's, how many images did I select? 4 on this one,
Four,
I think.
yeah.
4, because the middle 2 are kind of the same. So I almost want to treat it as one. Yes. Anyway, and again, I can't remember where I found these images. So it might have been Instagram. It might have been your website. But I really liked this image. And if I'm honest, I don't know what about it I love. If it's the seriousness of it, the tone, it's almost stoic in the way that it's presented to us. Also, I'm a big fan of black and white and grain, and this has all that goodness. So I do want to hear your thoughts on this image, and you know what? Now I'm thinking about it, and this is going to sound absolutely hypocritical of me, but there is part of this that's almost voyeuristic. So if I was to guess, this is definitely a telephoto lens. It feels very much like that. Simple framing, and they're not engaged with you whatsoever, and that adds to the voyeuristic nature of this image, which is funny because I've just spent like 5 minutes talking about how I hate voyeuristic images.
You're talking about in cinematography more so, though.
I was, yeah. But I don't know. There's something kind of cinematic about this image. Plus the tones in the black versus the white and the way they integrate with the negative space of the sea, I really enjoy. Plus, in a very strange note, you have this kind of like railing here that's creating like a dark line, and I feel like this I'm gonna grab my mic here, this space down here that's behind Greg, if Greg moves out of the way, this line here perfectly just balances this image with this line up here, the horizon. Now I'm talking a lot, so I am sorry, but I do want to hear your thoughts on this image. What made you take it, how you took it, and just the general story behind this image, if you can remember.
I can.
Amazing.
I love this picture.
It's a good picture. It's a good picture.
And also like how you describe, like you can describe. That is usually how the most comments I heard from people looking at my picture, and I take it as a compliment. This is actually how I feel. Like we don't need to verbally explain everything, but if our gaze is there, we feel good, then it's good. Yeah. And okay, the story behind this picture, and the girl, she the thing she's holding, they are on a boat. I was with them on a boat, and they should I say it?
Yeah.
Okay. It is a style shoot or a couple. No, is it? They are not a couple. They are two beings that they only know each other on the day.
Right.
And but they also could look very good, looking like a couple. But I told them, I don't want them. I don't want that. I choose you guys for a reason, because I don't need absolutely couple look, but something like this. You can have distance. And how I direct them is only really like you look at left. Nothing really. Look at left, or sometimes look at me, and just how do you express how you feel like now on a boat. And they after the whole day of working in this way, this is already a very end of the photo shoots. They completely get my vibe, and they already know how they should behave on the boat like this.
Yeah. I mean, there are a few images of this same two models on the boat. In fact, I was just going to see how many are on your Instagram. It's the fourth image is them again, but they have turned around and she's got her wine glass in the air. And that's a very similar image, but tonally it's different. And I quite like that. So you're able to capture a whole load of different feelings from almost the one setup. And I feel like a lot of photographers maybe struggle with that idea of, they'll show up at a wedding venue and they'll get like 10 locations or something crazy. I want to shoot them here. I want to shoot them here. I want to shoot them here. And this idea of just the location being the focus and not the vibe. And I feel like you're very good at changing the vibe, even if it's in the same location with the same lighting.
It's coming back to like giving yourself some constraints. You're constrained to that boat, so you have to get as much as you can from that one small boat.
Yeah.
Exactly. How to say it? Like before a real wedding, I would talk to the couple, so I get their vibe and how I do things. This, and to each photo shoot. In this way, I also talk to the couple in advance what I am aiming at, and I go to their Instagram and stuff, and I tell them this is the you I like. I would like to see this in my picture, and they totally get it. And but on the day, it's not only me there. There are some other people like a videographer. They might want something else, and I prepare them. There might be a possibility you need to change your mood for that, and but we will tell you how we are going to do that. Don't worry. So this is like communication in advance, so they can do the thing they are doing. So.
Also, I was just scrolling down on your Instagram, and obviously we were talking about how you color your footage, color your images differently. If anyone's interested in seeing the comparison, you can still see some of the old coloring on your Instagram, which I like. It might feel to you that you need to remove them, but actually I really love the fact that you can see how you've evolved. Or the decisions you've made to create something different. So you can, if you go right down to your Instagram, it's like you can hear those like almost warmer colors coming out, very much a different vibe compared to the stuff that you created. You've leaned more into the more editorial, even not even just in the coloring. The style of images that you have created are different. So I find the being able to compare the two fascinating.
I think that leads into the next image as well.
Yes. So this image, first of all, I don't know. So I should preface this, right? Because these aren't, when we do show and tell, I don't want to say these are like my favorite of all your images, right? It's just the images that I want to talk about because I've had an idea or whatever,
or they've stopped you for a reason or something.
Or they stopped me for a reason. I would never want to marginalize a photographer and be like, these three are your best. That's not the point of the show and tell. It's just, I think I picked this because, and you'll see the next one as well. It's something that we don't really do. It's the details. Now, I still don't know what these are. I'm seeing them large. But I don't know what these are. Are the earrings? Can you tell me what these are?
Yes, they're earrings.
They are earrings. Oh my god. Okay, that's funny because that's what I thought. But it's interesting because I see a lot of detail shots, and when I see things that mix with the elements, I get nervous for some strange reason. Like, I've seen cinematographers do the whole slow motion, like dropping the rings down and there's flames, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, but holy shit, you're dropping the rings, and why are you doing this shot? The risk to reward ratio just seems too wild. And I'm not saying that there's any risk here, but I do like the fact with this image that you're capturing the details, but there is an element of, I don't know, just the fact that you've been able to integrate water with this image, and you can see the ripples, and it's quite different to like flat lays that you would normally see. And I wanted to know, is this something that you do? Is this something that you get nervous about, or is this something? And is this something that you try and look out for in a wedding, or is this your attempt to just make these not look like boring detail shots?
First of all, I am sort of a detail freak. Like, I really love taking a detail picture.
Yeah,
you see that, right?
You do.
It's just a white background.
Yeah.
I can also sell that in Amazon. That's just the picture.
Oh my god! That's right. You've been inspired by your past photography journey. I like how you've kept.
Yeah. I have to say, like, I am not the pioneer of putting things on water. So I got this inspiration on from other photographer. I always want to try to do that, but in the end, it needs to do it it makes sense.
Yeah.
So this one I prepare myself, but whether I could do that on the day, I do not know. But that day I passed by the swimming pool. There are wind. There was wind, and then I see these ripples, and I thought, could be, like, then just try. That is, like I told you earlier, I plan things in my head, but on the day, what gives me from the environment, I will just like see and then try. And I try different version of that. This is not the first place I took the picture. I try from the pool of another side, but ultimately several versions. I like this one, therefore I keep this one.
Yeah. And on a purely practical level, like, if people are looking at this image, which you can find on our YouTube video or Spotify video, you have included the ripples in this, which I don't know is intentional, but it kind of looks like an extension of the earrings because they too have ripples in them. Yeah. One, did you realize that when you had the idea that the earrings would have ripples and there's ripples in the water and that would be nice?
Yeah.
And how are you creating these ripples? Or is it just the natural flow of the pool water? Or are you there with a finger just like splashing water?
Is it all with my feet? I had 2 pair of earrings on that day. And another earring entirely sank. It doesn't look good at all. So it's not how I want that to be. Yeah. And then I put this. So this one, the height is higher. The other one was like this thin. So thinner, then it sank. And this one is higher. Therefore, with the water level, it creates this kind of ripples. Yeah. So I did make the water move a little bit more. Yeah. And with the help of the wind.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm noticing that, like you said, that you do whatever the environment provides you, but your past sort of knowledge of being like a planner and someone who likes to plan, it sounds like you've got a bank of ideas that you can always reference and go, the environment's given me this. I'm going to pull that idea out and use that now. So it's not like it's just spontaneity completely. There's like some ideas there to pull from.
Absolutely. My pre-wedding workflows, including a day before, I really intentionally go on Instagram. Really, the day before, I really see a lot of people what could be done and stuff. whether I can use that on the wedding after. So, but this process, I don't do it all the time. Like 2 weeks before the wedding, I don't do that. I want it fresh, like in my head. I can still remember. And so I intentionally go on Instagram and see pictures and whether I can do that. And also, I got lost. Wait a second. According to the conversation I had with my clients, I also write intentions out really a day before the wedding to write, these are the several elements I bring into the wedding. And I pay a lot of attention to that. So, for example, I already know the next day we'll have sunshine. Then, and the couple told me, hey, this picture you had before with the flower have some shadow in the background. This is something that we like. Then I already know, okay, I pay more attention to the shadow and light on that day than to create certain things.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
The next image is obviously a very similar kind of image, and obviously, you're like you said, you're a detail freak. I have seen photographers bring sheets of textured linoleum. Why can't I say that word? Oh my goodness. Textured paper, maybe it's paper. Okay. Textured plastic paper, whatever it is, so they can put it down and find all the details from a wedding, like earrings and invitations, and place them on. And I've seen them spend a long time doing this. How long does something like this take for you to do? And when do you do these?
Before the wedding, if I already know I need to take stationaries, I need to know how they look. So I will already tell the couple, either you give it to me before or send me the pictures. So usually they can give me earlier. Then how to set it up, I already can practice at home. So how to layer those things in a way that is efficient on the day. So really, on the day in the getting ready, I will actually voluntarily be there because I really like taking a detailed picture. But I know, or I assume, these are not really, how to say it, the most important thing for the whole wedding coverage. But this is maybe just feeding my own. So I'd rather to go there earlier, spend more time with these small detail like stationery to do that. Like all in all, I think if I take a full set, I will really spend an hour for that. Yeah. But of course, having more things like shoes or earrings around, like different composition, different light like that.
Yeah. And I mean, do you take backdrops or textures with you? No, you're just purely finding these textures, these different locations on site. Okay, cool. Cool.
Because it represents the wedding, I in my opinion. So for example, when they get ready in a hotel room, so hotel room usually have white bed sheet. Then that is like, okay, then how can I do it with white bed sheet with that? Or sometimes I would just grab the veil of the bride, then I just use it as a background next to light. Then I can also create something that I wish I do have those flat lay mat, but that is last resort. I bring it. If I can't find anything on that day, then I know I can still have a mat that looks pretty. Well,
okay. Cool.
If that's like the first thing you're doing in the morning in terms of starting shooting, if you nail a flat lay and get it perfect and you're really happy with it, does that then take a weight off the day and make you approach the rest of the day sort of in a happier, more content mood? Does it affect that at all?
Actually, yes. Yes. I didn't really considering that, but now when you mentioned that, yes. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate any photographer who actually does these, because it takes the onus off us to need to document that sort of content. Because as a filmmaker, it's very hard to make flatleys look not visually interesting, because that's not right. Engaging, yeah, because there's a certain amount of time that you have to tell a story, and if you have flatley, what is the story of a flatley to a cinematographer? I don't think there's any. So we appreciate you taking time to create these sorts of images, so we don't have to. So this image, oh my goodness, it's another black and white one. So very similar vibes actually from the first image, except for actually no, I described the first one as a vibe as well. This is purely vibe for me. And you see all the, like, you do an amazing job of, you know, creating images with shutter drag and all sorts of different compositions of the bride doing stuff. And I really like these sorts of images where you could, from a certain perspective, think that's just a shite out of focus image. I know there are loads of photographers out there who does not see or appreciate this sort of image, and I am sorry that is the case, because they're not seeing or feeling the joy that these sorts of images bring. And I actually love these, and probably after speaking to John Dolan, I appreciate them even more. Is the fact that, again, it's a feeling. It's not the image itself that is perfect. It's like it's that perfect imperfection. It's the embracing of the craft and yeah, not having everything be like a perfect image. But to me, that is what makes it the perfect image, is the fact that you've embraced that. And again, there's a somberness to it. But I do want to hear from your point of view, this image. Why did you take this image? Was it intentional? I'm guessing it is, because I've seen so many on your website or your Instagram. Why you take these images? Just tell me everything about these. I'm sorry, I should really learn to be more, focused with my questions. Tell me everything.
How to say it? I think this picture, of course, not those pictures I seriously think of lighting, composition, all these things. Absolutely not. Mm-hmm. And but that is really like. I guess I'm not a videographer, but make a video. If I want the middle part, actually I need to take a little bit before, a little bit afterwards, and then crop the part that to use. And the taking pictures part, I also sort of do it in the same way. This is actually after taking some portrait picture with the bride, and then I know she's leaving, and. But it doesn't mean that I want to stop. I can still continue for a while, like let that 30 seconds be still in my camera. I don't know what my camera will get at that point, just a woman leaving, right? But let's try and then take some pictures. If there is something good coming out like this one, then I will keep it. So this is my working procedure towards this kind of image.
Yeah. And did you intentionally throw the focus off here to create that feeling, or did the camera just choose that for
I think this one is the leftover of intention. Most probably I was really doing some intentional movement. So my camera, my feeling camera at that point was in a slow shutter speed, and I just continue. Yeah. And then this is the outcome.
Yeah. Amazing. When you find an image like this in your camera, when you're culling all your images, what makes you stop and go, oh yeah, this is actually a good image? Is that a feeling, or is there some sort of critical education that you've had to see a good image compared to an image that someone might describe as a cullable?
It depends on which kind of pictures. Like, these kind of pictures really just gut feeling. Like if I see it, I'm like, yes, then I take it.
Yeah.
But of course there are other kind of pictures. I have a lot of consideration of keep it or not. There will be some other consideration as well.
Yeah. But I actually like the fact that you have so many of these in your gallery. I don't know. There's this, something very timeless. Funnily enough, timeless about this, which is funny because it's kind of a trend to do the motion blur, like, yeah. But I really do like it. In fact, if anyone hasn't checked out the work, go onto her Instagram, check out, because it's really cool. Plus, you get to compare where she's been on a creative level, and I just like doing that. So, yes. Anyway,
so, in wrapping up, do you have any book recommendations for our listeners, whether that's photography inspiration or anything else that might just be inspiring you just now?
I think there are two books of quite influential to me, and usually I don't read too many books, but the first book I would say is called Start With Why, and always heard that when you know your why, you can do certain things, something like that. And until I was on YouTube, I listened to this author talk about that. Simon Sinek is his name, and then I listened to his TED talk, and then also bought this book and read about that. And it is really, over time, I feel like when I have my why, how I do things and in what I am doing is really sort of automatic. And this is also a no regret way because I know what is behind me. So I recommend this book, but actually can also listen to the YouTube. It would be enough as well, I would say.
Yeah, the TED Talk's a really good start point for the whole concept of Start With Why. And then you can obviously dive into the book. It's a good one, that one.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen his TED Talk.
You know?
No. Oh, I love a good TED Talk. What was the second book?
The second book is actually having some relationship with Simon Sinek. Is published by his publication, and that is a book called Unreasonable Hospitality, and is written by Will Guidara. Yeah.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
Will Guidara.
I'm going to be checking that out.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay. The Unreasonable Hospitality. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, I found them. So, for our listeners out there, Start With Why is on paperback, $8.48. Hardback, because that's a better version of the book, £21 or $21.56. But again, £1 on audiobook, and the Unreasonable Hospitality is $17.30 hardback. Again, support your local bookshops. This is just an Amazon listing because it's easy for me to find. But yeah, cool, awesome. Definitely going to check those out. I love it. I love a good TED Talk as well. So that's going to be my task after the
If
podcast.
you have never heard anything from him, then this one will trigger quite some network. Your neural in your brain will be quite sparkle, I would say.
Nice. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, thank you very much for coming on the podcast,
Thank
Echo.
you.
Yeah,
Where can people find you online? Your website, your Instagram, all that kind of good stuff. Where can people find you?
Easiest way would be Instagram, and I've never pronounced it in an English way, but wow, it gets so awkward all of a sudden. My business name, because I pronounce it in German, is called Kajade. So Kajade. So Kajade is the English name. I just pronounce it with my husband. So kajade.de would be my website, and Kajade_photography would be my Instagram.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, why Kajade? Did we talk about that? I can't remember.
So
Sorry, on you go.
So Echo is actually my how to say, like in Hong Kong, it is very common that we have an English name, and but my Chinese name is called Ka Yi. So my first name Ka translate in English, it means the Asian jade on a hair accessories.
Oh,
so
yeah, okay.
I took the jade combined with my Ka, so it means Ka jade. Put
cool.
together.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay. Oh, that's cool. I like that name. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
But it's just sound Kayada sounds slower in my head. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why does everything in English sound more rubbish?
Kajade.
Kajade. It just doesn't
It
sound as
sounds
good.
interesting.
God, we're rubbish. Anyway, yes, thank you for coming on, and definitely check out her work, listeners. People can find us at perspectivebycinemate.com. Our Instagram is at perspectivebycinemate. Thank you to With Jack for sponsoring this episode. And if you have liked this conversation, please do follow and hit that subscribe on our YouTube at Perspective by Cinemate, or wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, all that kind of good stuff. I suppose the benefits of Spotify is the video will be there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Apple Podcasts, you can't see it. It's just audio. I'm sorry. Maybe that's a good thing. Anyway, however,
in the meantime,
enjoy your life.
Awesome. I'm just going to stop that recording.
Awesome. Thank you so much.